What's up, guys? Welcome again to my channel. It's been great experience sharing my experience with you guys. I hope you feel the same. My name is Toilam, and I run and manage my farm called Chepar Farm. And today I'm going to share with you a process that I followed to get these awesome maize you can see behind me. Let me just turn around. You can see behind me again. You can see the far ends behind me there as well. So the maize has been doing awesomely well. I don't know if that's a word. Awesomely well. Yes, so I hope awesomely well is a word. Otherwise, English people, you can sue me. The English speaking guys, you're welcome to sue me. But I believe if you are excited, you can make your own words and you can decide which words to use. Okay, anyway, let's go straight to the point. So today I'll be sharing with you a technique that I've been using for the last 2 years on my maize farm. Okay, so this technique has really helped me a lot, and especially this year I've seen my maize has been doing well, extremely well, more than I expected. Actually, it's been doing well and more than I have been expecting the farm to perform. And all this thanks to a technique that I was told to apply by my father-in-law, and this technique has really saved me a lot, and it's worked wonders on my maize farm. As we all know, maize is one of the major components when you are making your animal feeds. So like when you want to make like a layers mash, out of 70 kgs you need almost 34 kgs of maize, whole maize, okay, to just make a 70 kg feed, layers feed. Okay, and these got me thinking, okay, what if I make my own feeds? Because we know in farming, especially livestock and things that would deal with animals, more than 50% of your cost is feeds, because you are raising living beings, because they'll need to eat on a daily basis. That is one thing they cannot skip, eating and drinking. So they cannot skip that, and you need to provide the necessary nutrition for these animals to give you high production, high yields. Okay, so when I looked at the options that I had, is the first thing is I need to have a farm which has maize. So this is 3 acres I've planted, and last year it gave me 20 bags an acre. So that means I got around 22 bags an acre. Okay, prior to that, before using this method, is I was getting less and less. I was getting around 15 sometimes bags an acre, 90 kgs bag an acre, and that was not good for me. So now I've increased my yield to around 20-25 bags an acre, and I'm hoping to have more this year. Okay, now the other constraint that we have in terms of maize farming is it's somehow labor intensive. Not every day, but once you start doing the labor, then it becomes extensive. So it's something that the labor that you'll do for that farm will not take you less than a week. Okay, like on my farm, it'll take you, I think, a week to complete most of the labor. So it's somehow as well labor intensive when it needs the labor, when it needs those tasks to be done. So you'll find that with this technique you can actually relax on most of the lifetime when you're planting your maize, okay, and you will be able to do other things during that period. So let's go straight to the technique. So as you know, as I introduced earlier, is when I want to plant, I do the dry plowing. I don't do the dry planting, but I do dry plowing. Okay, dry plowing is where I plow my land before the rain starts. So if I know the rain season is it's probably like on my end where I'm located in my farm is in March, end of March, beginning of April. Sometimes the rains will delay, like this year it delays until May. That's when we started having the first rains. Okay, so essentially what I'll do is I will plow my land in February. Okay, I'll plow the land in February. That is during that February heat, December, January, February heat, I'll do the dry plowing. That is the first plow that I'll do. Okay, then I won't wait until in my rainy season. In my area, what happens is the rain rains for almost a week. Okay, then it stops for 2 weeks. Okay, then that is the beginning of the rainy season. Then it starts raining now heavily, that you can rely on after 2 weeks. Okay, so during the first, once I've done the initial dry plowing, okay, so I go to the second part where now is I wait until that first 1 week. Okay, that's that first 1 week when it starts raining. That is when I plow, and then of course the rain will stop raining again for another 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. Sometimes it even goes to 4. Then I will just wait for that for the rains to come, because there is nothing that will actually grow during that period. What this does to your soil is it brings aeration to the soil. Okay, so it provides aeration, and then when you start planting, you will see that it's like you'll be planting on something like a sponge. So it will have that warmth, then it will be able to retain a little bit of more water. So we know plants need air, water, and warmth. So you'll be providing air in the soil, okay, then water. It will be able to easily absorb any water, and even the water that you when you plowed the second time, the water that was in the soil, then it's still in the soil. So you're basically providing it aeration, good aeration. Okay, so that will make it easier for the maize to germinate. So now once I've done that second plowing, of course I do now the tilling, because depending on the size of the farm, there are some people who manually dig the lines or dig the holes for the maize, but I'll do the tilling. I'll bring a tiller probably once now the heavy rains have started. Okay, so once the heavy rains have started, sometimes I do the dry planting during that period when the heavy rains have not started. I will do what? I will plant. Okay, but that is risky. Sometimes the rain may go for a very long time, and you need now to start replacing the maize that will not have germinated. So what I've noticed is that period when the rain starts raining on the first day. If it rains today, then the next day I'm planting. Okay, so I plant the next day. All right, so once I've planted the next day, so the next thing that I do is after that day, after planting day, after I've planted today, tomorrow I will come with these anti-weed chemicals. Okay, anti-weed chemicals. So I will spray it on the farm. Okay, I'll spray it on the farm, and then once I've sprayed it on the farm, you remember I've sprayed that chemical, or yes, that chemical. Okay, so I sprayed it on the farm even before it started germinating. So you don't need to wait. You don't actually have to wait for it to germinate. And there's a reason that I'll mention the reason I'm doing this. Okay, so I spray it before the plants germinate. So basically I spray it on the soil. So what this will do is, because it has started raining heavily, it will prevent these broad leaves, because I'm planting maize. If you're planting beans as well, what you can do, you can apply both the broad leaves and the thin leaves chemical. Okay, so once you spray with these chemicals, what it does is it inhibits these weeds from growing, anti-weeds. Okay, so that is an anti-weed, so it will inhibit these weeds from growing, because these weeds need to grow from day one. So from day one, once they start sprouting, because weeds sprout also faster as compared to maize, so once they start sprouting, because there's this chemical in the soil, okay, what will happen is the plants will die, so you'll not have the plant. So what you've done is you've eliminated the aspect of weeding from the word go. Okay, so you've eliminated the aspect of weeding from the word go, and that is really important, because that is the aspect of you cutting costs in terms of weeding, because weeding is really expensive. It's one of the most expensive expenses you'll incur when doing maize farming. Okay, so you'll do the weeding, you'll prevent that weeding. So what will happen is, after, because you gave the soil that aeration, so exactly after around 5-6, if it goes a lot, 7 days, your maize will have already germinated. Okay, most of maize in the farm, probably around 90%, on day 5 they'll have already germinated. Okay, day 5-6 they'll have already germinated. Okay, it really goes to day 7 actually with this. That's the reason I do that second plowing. Okay, you can of course do this without the second plowing. You can just do the first plowing, which is still okay. You can just do one plow, just plow the farm. If you have been plowing the farm and it doesn't have a lot of weeds and all that, you can just do it once. Okay, now once it started germinating, and maize will do what? It will start developing leaves. So once it's been, the leaves have grown to your knee height, just close to your, below the knee height, like near the height where your gumboot reaches. Okay, if you're wearing gumboots, like I'm wearing gumboots now, that height, which is around 1 foot, 1 foot from the ground. Okay, when it's approximately 1 foot from the ground, what you'll do now is bring in people. Okay, and what we'll be instructing them to do is very simple. Just bring in soil from the left and the right of the plant. Okay, and bring it to the plant. Basically is add soil, more soil to that plant's roots to the level of the stem, not until the top, probably until where the first leaf starts, the bottom leaf. Okay, so until that section where that first leaf started, and then add that soil. All right, so once you've done that, you are done. So what you need to do now, next time, is once the plants have reached your waist height, the height of your waist, which is probably around 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet, 3 or 4 feet between there, what you'll be doing is now you'll come and do top dressing. Top dressing is where now you'll apply CAN. Okay, some people apply DAP, so it depends. So a top dressing you add to that plant. All right, and you forget about anything else until harvesting. You'll not do any other tasks until harvesting. Okay, so that is the technique that I use. So when I do the harvesting, what I do is I don't wait for the maize to completely dry. Once it has started, that you've started noticing most of the leaves are dry, that is when I cut the maize and arrange them in stacks. Okay, piles, and then people start harvesting that, because I've not started implementing the machinery because the farm is small, it's 3 acres. Okay, so that one can be done manually, and I'll be promoting people in my village, okay, by giving them work in. All right, so with this technique now, which brings me to the question, why am I applying this herbicide or anti-weed chemical before the maize germinates? And the answer is, Okay, the answer is because I need that chemical to have been excreted by the plant, okay, by the time I am harvesting this maize. Because I can do harvesting in two forms, okay, like I can do harvesting for silage. All right, I also, for my farm, what I do is these leaves, okay, these leaves, I remove them from this level to this level here. Okay, so these I feed my cows. If I want to keep the maize for what, exclusively for for eating in my home, okay, so I use these leaves. I remove the leaves, make silage from these, adds like a few dairy meals and all that, not meals, like I add like whole maize which have been ground maize, okay, and then I add that to the silage and molasses, and I'm able to make my silage from this. Okay, now that is one. So I don't want this chemical. I want by the time I do even this leaves harvesting, the chemical will have moved away from the plant. Okay, it will have been excreted by the plant. All right, the next thing is, as you can see my maize now, let me pick this. As you can see, this maize here, it's almost ready for silage. It's almost ready for silage. Probably I'll give it another 1 month to 4 weeks and it should be ready for silage. All right, so I want by the time I harvest this maize for silage, that chemical will have been excreted by the plant. Okay, the most of the chemical or even all of it. Okay, so that is the reason I put it in the soil before I plant. What I've seen most people do is when the plant has reached your knee height, when you want now to apply top dressing, that is when most people in even my area, what they do, most of them, is that is when they spray the anti-weed. Because by that time the wood will have, first of all, the weeds will have eaten most of the nutrients that these plants need. Okay, the second thing is you are mixing, most people mix even these chemicals with the top dressing chemical fertilizer. That is wrong, because you don't know what types of chemical, what this chemical has that will go and negate the positives that you have on that top dressing fertilizer. Okay, so that is the other thing. Now the other thing is, I feel, I know we excrete chemicals, even in human beings. We remove toxins from our body, and that is the same way plants do. They undergo the same process. Okay, so if we can be able to excrete these chemicals, so that means I can be able to do what? I can be able to safely say that these plants are safe for consumption. Okay, so that is the main reason I apply it even before the plants germinate. Okay, yes. Now this technique has been really good for me, because what happens before, what I used to do before is I used to plant my maize. Of course, I go through the plowing, the dry plowing, like I used to do. Okay, I do the dry plowing. Then what I do next, after I've done the dry plowing, is I will do the second plowing once the rain starts, the beginning of the rain. Okay, the first rain for that first week. And then I'll plant my maize, and then after probably around 4 weeks, I'll do the first weeding. Okay, because this soil that where I am is really fertile, because these are the regions where we plant maize. It's in around Trans-Nzoia and West Pokot. Those regions we plant a lot of maize. Okay, so the soil is really fertile. So you cannot do one weeding. You'll have to do weeding twice. So what I've done is I've eliminated weeding twice, and weeding per acre is really expensive if you do weeding, manual ones. Okay, so if I've done once I do that, I do the second weeding, that will mean I need to be in the farm, because for this farm to be weeded, the first weeding, it will take people 1 week. So I need to be around, I need to monitor, I need to count the dimensions, like 10 meters by 10 meters for everybody, go and confirm everything has been done well and all that. And sometimes tell people to repeat where they have not done a very good job. So it's really labor intensive. I'll spend most of my time on the farm anyways. Okay, that will apply for the second time. I'll have to do that. Then I'll bring other people the third time to do the top dressing. So what I've done is I've eliminated this. So I normally, in these 3 acres, I need 2 people to do what? I need 2 people to do the spraying once I've planted. Okay, and then I need 4 people to do the top dressing. Okay, then when I'm done that, I need additional 6 people when they are putting soil to the plant. Initially, if I went through the old route, I'll not need 6 people to do the weeding for the 3 acres. I'll need more than 12 people, so that is 12 times the cost, 2 times the cost that I am incurring now. Okay, so, and I'll do that twice, so that means I'll incur cost probably 3 times what I'm incurring now just on weeding. All right, so, and I think I've covered one of the major ways you can do your planting for maize. And this maize, this season, I will harvest it, and this will be for my poultry farm. I have, as you've seen in my videos, one of the ways that I want to cut on costs is cutting on feed costs. And for me to cut on feed costs, I need to plant some of these raw materials myself. And I'll be planting, I have another farm where I'll be planting soya. It's more in semi-arid areas where soyas will do well. There is a lot of heat and all that, and it's close to a water source. So I'll be shooting that video and sharing with you, but that is for next year. Okay, I'll be getting feed for my animals for next year, because I'm already late this year in doing the soya farming, soya seeds farming. So guys, stay tuned. I hope it's been educative to you, and trust you me, my neighbors are asking me about this technique. Almost everybody around me are using this technique now, and this will be like my standard technique that I'll be using. So please, if you are into farming, planting maize for your silage, planting maize for home use, planting maize for your animal feeds later on once you harvest the corn, this is the technique that you can use. It will save you a lot of time. Okay, it will save you a lot of time, and it will be really productive. Trust you me, you can, if you are in like virgin land, you can get even more than 20 to 30 bags, more than 20 bags an acre. So this is a really good technique. And one last idea that I'll give you, one last tip is, when you are planting your maize, ensure at least 1 bag. I think it's normally 70 kgs. At least 1 bag. That is the minimum that should go in every acre. I use 1.5 bags per acre, and I've seen really the advantage of that. Okay, so you can use 1 bag per acre. When you're doing top dressing again, use 1 bag, at least 1 bag, 70 kgs bag per acre. Okay, so that means if you have 3 acres, you need to use at least 3 bags. I use 5 bags for my 3 acres for the fertilizer and for the top dressing. That's a nice tip for you. That will help you. That will actually help you get a lot of maize. The yield will be really awesome. All right, so until next time, guys, I've seen this video is going long, it's taking more time. Until next time, please like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please share this, and please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm available and I'll be able to answer you, for those that I'll be able to answer. If not, I'm sorry about that if not, but I'll try as much as possible to answer all your comments and reply to all your comments, answer your questions. So please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell. I think it's somewhere here. Hit that notification bell, okay, so that you're notified the next time I'm giving you good farming tips. Until next time, guys, see you. Bye bye.